So after reading Intimate Apparel, the one thing that stuck out to me was the development of the feelings between George and Esther, and how they were able to develop those feelings over such a long distance, and how he was able to like convince her to marry him. And I thought it was pretty sweet at first until he got there, and obviously, he wasn't the man that she had thought, and that was kind of sad and like heartbreaking. So that was the one thing that like really stuck out to me. And then as for the values of the play, I noticed people put a large emphasis on relationships. Obviously Esther was, constantly like she wanted a relationship and was sad that she didn't have one and was jealous of people that were getting married. And I also thought it was interesting how Mrs. Van Buren was like staying with her husband even though she thought he was probably like having an affair on her, um, having an affair. And then work was another one. They placed large emphasis on that. Esther had spent, years working her life away and kind of neglected the category of love in her life. And then George Armstrong, on the other hand, was also, working in the Panama Canal, even though people were constantly dying. So they had a large emphasis on, working. Um, as for reading with a pencil, I found the word suffragette, and it reminded me of suffrage, but I wanted to double check. So I Googled that, and sure enough, it meant like a woman who kind of fought for the right, for women's right to vote. And the play was set in 1905, and women's suffrage didn't occur until 1920. So it kind of lined up with the time period and was it made sense with the play and the setting. As for question 4, I do think that the play challenges stereotypes because it shows you how relatable Esther is and how everybody, no matter what their race, we all have the same feelings and we all have the same desires and kind of just want to find someone and also have the same struggles. Um, so I thought that was a good thing. Um, question 5: the stereotypes, do they still exist? I would say yes. I think that anger and just ignorance tends to perpetuate stereotypes. But if we, took a step back and tried to understand where people are coming from and why they're doing the things that they're doing instead of jumping to conclusions, I think we could get rid of those or overcome them. I think Trump's recent flight ban was a prime example where he was just stereotyping people based off their, race, and calling them terrorists. And people were speaking out and getting to know each other and, protesting. And I think that kind of helped people become more knowledgeable about it. So that was good. As for my own questions, I was curious when she met with her client or her friend, like Mamie, she had mentioned that, her piano songs like were bad to play in her house. And I was curious as to why the, syncopated piano song was bad. And then it said that I read that this was based off Nadage's great grandma, but I would like to know how closely, how accurate the play actually is to her story.